Hi, I'm Hakan.
And I'm Sarah.
And we're both head instructors and managers here at the Australian Martial Arts Academy. Today we're going to be talking about how to prepare your little dragon for school next year.
This is a really exciting topic because I know a lot of parents get a little bit nervous. They're also really excited to get their kid into their first school uniform and get them started at school. But I notice that a lot of the time parents get worried that their child is not going to fit in at school next year. And I think, being able to deal with issues as they arise is great, but let's leave it there. If your child is old enough to start school, they should be old enough to start to learn how to fit in, and that there's nothing wrong with your child. And so I guess what we can do is really, as parents, support our child in recognizing the skill sets that they have, the coping mechanisms that they have to be able to go into school and know that they will do well.
Absolutely. Now, a great tool to do this is to consistently reinforce and remind our young ones that they are equipped with the skills. If they've been training in our Little Dragons program, they already have a different uniform. They're already spending time away from mum or dad. They're already putting their hand up and contributing. They're already asking for help. They're already making friends, and they already know the rules.
That's exactly right. And so that's a huge number of things we're doing, and I think as parents we sometimes forget because you see them all the time. So we want our child to recognize, what skills do I have, and that I already am very confident in doing this. So the uniform's a great one. So when we're going and getting your uniform ready for next year, one of those conversations you have is, this is like your martial arts uniform. You wear your martial arts uniform to martial arts, and this is your big school uniform. You're gonna wear your uniform to big school.
Exactly right. And another example we can give our children is when we drop our kids off for the Little Dragons and they come and do their class, it's much like school where they're going to have a lot of fun, they're going to learn a lot of cool things, and the parents are going to be right there to pick them up after school. Yes, this can be very challenging, but it's an area that we can use to remind our kids that this is something they're already doing.
And I think if you can reinforce it, much like we do with the mat chat, that you're involved and engaged with them after school at the pickup time. What did you learn today? Have a chat in the car at the end. So just like how they demonstrate a couple of the moves and you're involved without necessarily teaching them or holding their hand, I think it's great if you can be involved at the end of their day and say, at the end of the day, you can come and showcase a couple of the moves that you do, just like your mat chat at martial arts.
And another key important area that they do in our Little Dragons program already is they ask for help. They learn how to put their hand up, speak their mind, and this is something we want to encourage and to give them that school readiness when they do get into that kindergarten class, to put their hand up, to speak their mind, and let them know what they need and ask any questions. I think that's a really important tool that we need to instill in our kids from a young age.
Exactly right. So just for you to say, where you would ask Miss Sarah or Miss Montana or one of your teachers for some help, this teacher, and you tell them your teacher's name, they're going to be the person who looks after you and helps you in the class. So just reminding those, seems trivial to us, kids forget to put those 2 points together. Okay, that person's my teacher, they're there to help me. And so if we can get that point down pat from straight away, they're going to do so well.
Another area parents think about a lot is my child making friends? Are they going to be having fun? Are they going to be playing at lunchtime? And how can we use martial arts as an example here, Miss Sarah?
One of the first things that we do, and we do very well, is we teach people that they're all going to be friends and look after each other. They don't necessarily have to be best friends, but to learn how to introduce themselves. And ultimately with kids, that's one of the best things about being a kid. If there's another person around your age at the playground, all of a sudden you're best buds and you can go off and play together.
So it's that confidence, isn't it?
Yeah, so just because maybe we might be nervous in social situations now making friends, just expect that your kids can go out there and they can just make friends. If you tell them that's the case, they believe what we tell them. So we need to be those role models who are confident that there's nothing wrong with them and that they will make friends.
Exactly. And finally, guys, another really important area is rules. We have rules for home, we've got rules at martial arts, and what we really need to encourage and have a conversation with our children is the rules at school.
And respecting the difference between them. So, do you bow when we come home? Do you bow as you enter the door? No, we only do that at martial arts because they're the rules at martial arts. Do we bow when we go to school? No, what are the rules though? We say hello to our friends, we say hello to our teachers. And so even if there aren't set rules at school, just telling the child what you expect them to do can be that great way to stop that barrier from them starting poor habits. Because if we can set them up front with the right skills that we want them to be able to achieve from starting school, then they're going to do great.
And finally, underpinning all of this is routine. We've found that the kids who have had a smooth transition to school. I guess the key factor underpinning that is routine. And this routine includes before school routine, after school activities, martial arts, swimming, whatever it may be, and sticking to it. We found that kids who do this get through their weeks seamlessly. They're able to complete their homework.
They have more resilience.
That's
They still
right.
are kids, obviously, but they've got that resilience to be able to bounce back. They'll have their days. But as parents, we need to support our kids in creating routine because ultimately that's how they're going to know what's expected of them, what the rules are, and how they can get it right. If we're changing that routine haphazardly because they're more tired one day, naturally they're going to be tired. Then they're not going to know what their expectations are.
And let's face it, we don't want our kids to take our kindness for weakness. If they're tired and we give in, that's going to be a sign for them to maybe play up.
Exactly. And I guess that's where we want to listen to the child. Oh, you're a little bit tight, that's okay. We knew this was going to happen because you're starting your routine. It's normal to get tired. In fact, you have to be tired to sleep. Let's just go and ask your teachers for a little bit of help at martial arts, or let's just go and tell your teacher at school that you're a little bit tired today and you might need a little bit of help. And instead of solving the problems for our kids, teaching them how to solve their own problems, we're going to go and ask for some help is one of the most empowering things that you can do to build confidence in your child.
Definitely.
And so the sooner we can start creating that routine, if they're starting school, say February next year, we want to start getting them to the martial arts class, the swimming class, or whichever session they're going to as soon as possible. So try to avoid saying, okay, well, we'll take all of January off and go back into routine then. Let's create a little bit of routine so it just slowly builds up with school, and so that they're able to fit all of those things in, because ultimately we want to see that they're well-rounded, that they're fitting in well, making friends and having fun.
Absolutely. So we hope this video has clarified that. We hope it's a smooth transition for your child. We do understand it can be daunting, but if we follow these steps and principles, I think it will make it a nice and seamless process.
We're always here to help if you've got any questions. We've been lucky enough, I've personally helped 10,000 children go through this process, and so it's really nice to see that your child is going to do really well, especially if you could use some of our experience behind this.
Thank you.